Your average company today is taking climate change very seriously. I think in terms of multinationals and large Asian companies, most businesses have actually set targets for reducing their carbon emissions. And if you go within the Fortune 100 companies, most of those targets are between 10 and 15% increase in energy efficiency or decrease in carbon emissions per year. So this just gives you one sign of how companies are actually making changes in their operations and trying to think strategically about what climate change and then to act on it, which is actually very forward-looking when you think about the fact that climate change won't be seriously affecting business operations until 10, 20, 30 years out. They realize that there's policy and regulatory changes and market changes which are coming probably sooner than anyone thinks. From a business perspective, I have to say that reducing your carbon emissions by 10 to 15% per year is actually very, very significant, and it represents significant investment by the businesses. The scale of climate change is such that, and the scale of the challenge is such that we actually need to be thinking of multiples far greater than that. So if you look at kind of what the science is telling us, most of the developed world, which is Europe and the US, need to be thinking about cutting their carbon emissions anywhere from 50 to 90%. And the reason I have to give you here is that we're actually acquiring knowledge about how to mitigate against climate change as we go along. So the thing is, we don't have all the solutions today. And our existing technologies, a lot of them aren't price competitive and they're not accessible enough. So what we need to do is actually continue to work on the problem, continue to create the solutions, and in doing so actually gain more knowledge and gain more expertise and gain more demand for implementing these solutions. And in doing so, actually understand the problem more and understand what we need to do to actually combat it. And being that the principal investor and the principal creator of solutions, the principal innovator on how the world's going to deal with climate change, given that that's the business sector, we have to act today. We have to begin to act today, because only by beginning to act will we actually gain the knowledge which will actually produce the solutions which will eventually help us deal with climate change. And I'm talking about not only the solutions, the technologies, but also these solutions which are going to help countries adapt to the impacts of climate change. We don't have all the knowledge today, but we have to begin somewhere. And that somewhere is actually what companies are doing today.